Good evening. This is a presentation to share my journey through a very challenging period of my life. And I have entitled it The Life of a Recovering Procrastinator and my challenge with time management. This is the albatross around my neck by Luciann. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about what this albatross is, as a man thinketh, how your mind plays with your character and the things that you choose to do. I'm going to discuss what the problem is and some theorists that I have chosen to kind of help me through the process of understanding why I am behaving or choosing to make certain decisions. I'm going to talk about what ego depletion is, and then I'm going to walk you through the plan of what I did to make some immediate changes in my life, and then talk about the shift, how growth mindset, changing from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, was critical in me changing my habits. And then I'm going to talk about a work in progress and how I can share with you some tips to help you if you are struggling with time management issues. Then I'm going to wrap it up with some final reflections. The albatross. It looks like an innocent bird. It is. But there's this metaphor of the albatross around your neck, and it's taken from Coleridge's poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. In the poem, the mariner kills an albatross, which is considered a good luck charm for sailors. As a result, his crew forces him to wear this dead bird around his neck as punishment for the rest of his life. Compared to people, this depiction is likened to a burden, a mistake, or an error of judgment, and the individual is cursed with a constant reminder of this albatross or issue that they cannot quite overcome. In my case, I am a recovering perfectionist, and now I have developed the habit of procrastination. This problem has manifested and escalated into a breakdown of my ability to manage my time properly, leaving me completely leaving me completely um, out of sorts with my assignments and chores, work related responsibilities, and doing things at the very last possible moment. It had become so terrible to the point that I knew that I needed to make a change. However, I did not know how. If you are like me, a, a Gen Xer in your 50s, or maybe you're in your 40s or 30s and you are struggling with time management issues, come with me as I retell my journey from the albatross of captivity to soaring like an eagle into freedom. The problem: what is wrong with me? That is the question I've been asking myself for approximately 7 years now. Have you ever felt overwhelmed, lost, or mentally fatigued? Almost like you have an albatross around your neck that is choking you to death. You know it is not good for you and you want to eliminate this way of thinking, behavior, or overcome a difficult situation. Still, you're overtaken by this thing or way of being, and you are dying slowly. If this is you, then you, my friend, are experiencing a type of internal crisis that must be addressed now. That's what I have been dealing with for the past 7 years. Procrastination is an abyss that causes you to spiral out of control and affects all aspects of your life. For me, it has appeared due to a lack of time management. That's how it showed up for me. The biblical scripture that sets the tone for James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh in His Heart, So Is He, is taken from Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. In this book, As a Man Thinketh, is a timeless and poignant piece of literature that focuses on how a person's mindset dictates the character they will develop. The contents of this book are still relevant in our society today, especially as we grapple with moral and ethical issues that plague us daily. As a teacher, I constantly challenge my students to figure out who they are, what makes them unique and different. I start and end the year with the same question: who are you? Today, that is the same question I'm asking myself. I want to read this beautiful quote that came out of this book, As a Man Thinketh. It says, "Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes. The tool of thought in shaping what he wills brings forth 1,000 joys and 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass." So, as I was trying to figure out how to solve my problem of procrastination and wasting time, not getting things done, I started researching some theorists and seeing if they can help me figure out what to do. As I started to research more information about how to address my problem, I read about the studies of three social theorists: Roy Baumeister, who research dealt with willpower and self-control. He even discussed a concept called ego depletion. I'm going to talk about that, meaning that someone who has experienced mental fatigue and is overwhelmed with life so they can no longer attain the desired behavior. We call it in society, burnout. Then I read about Barry Zimmerman, who researched also focused on self-regulation and the ability to use metacognitive processing, such as goal setting, planning, and self-reflection to help people achieve a balanced self-regulatory system. That's what I was in need of. And the final theorist is Sigmund Freud. We've all heard about him. The psychoanalytic theory that he came up with focuses on three elements of an individual's personality: the id, the ego, and the superego. In the context of my procrastination and time management struggles, in my case, the id loves freedom and pleasure. I love to daydream. I like to put things off. It hates responsibility and the rational behavior of the ego, which is controlled and desires to do what is right. I have always done what is right. And all of a sudden now, I'm tired of doing what is right. And I'm moving more towards what the id wants to do, which is to relax, to be free, to enjoy pleasure. So I made these bullet points: willpower and self-control. I was lacking in those. Ego depletion simply means mental fatigue. Self-regulation, I needed to start setting some goals, planning and reflecting on how my day was going and whether or not I was able to accomplish the goals that I set. And then, of course, the daily struggle that I had between the id and the ego: pleasure versus responsibility, pleasure versus rational mature behavior and the urge to avoid essential things and replace them with pleasurable activities that distract me from completing specific tasks. Facing the truth. What is ego depletion? The article Ego Depletion Explained, Understanding Depleted Willpower says, tied to self-control and willpower, the theory of ego depletion suggests that people have a limited amount of strength or ability for self-control. In this theory, exerting self-control can drain energy or willpower to apply it to another subsequent task or to resist temptation. Simply put, I had been experiencing mental fatigue. Trying to be perfect was exhausting, and I was done. Plan. How to create your village. So I had to come up with a plan. I had to figure out what to do because I was arriving to work late, 3 days out of the week. Even if I was 2 or 3 minutes late, I'm still late. But some days I would roll up to work 10 minutes late. And after a while, that drew the attention of my boss. There's a saying that I have used for years in my teaching career. Each one, each one. And I needed to do that. I needed to teach myself some new behaviors. So the shift comes. To make a change, everything in my life needed to shift. The following were the shifts that I decided to make to see change. I had to change my mindset, moving away from a defeatist way of thinking or a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. I had to change some habits that I had developed. I had to recognize that I was no longer a young whippersnapper in my 20s or 30s that can do things really quickly. I'm 55. I can no longer do that. And so I had to realize that the lists that I made that really were unachievable, I needed to shrink those things. I needed to work on habits that were going to help me be successful with getting to work on time. So the first thing I needed to do was end work early and go to bed by 8 p.m. every night. I needed rest to tackle my morning routines without a hitch. Even though I wake up at 4:30 every morning, that was my routine. To get myself started, I needed to wake up 30 minutes earlier every day. I needed to create new habits to replace the old ones. So to kickstart this new habit, instead of getting up at 4:30, I willed myself to begin my day at 4 a.m. And then this one is very important. I'm like my mother. My mother's a morning person. I'm a morning person. I could get up and I can cook dinner for the day. I can wash a load of clothes. I can clean. I can vacuum, iron my clothes. I used to be able to do that no problem. Those days are over for me. I no longer can do that. So I had to simplify my morning routines to three things: worshiping and spending time with God, which are essential parts to my day. It helps to set the tone for my day. Ironing my clothes and showering were the 3 things I did every day for 30 days. So we have this lady in this picture thinking, I did it. I am a work in progress. The concept of perfectionism is a human construct that is based on unrealistic expectations that we and even the influences of larger society place on us. The attainment of a flawless existence with no issues or obstacles is excellent in theory, but it cannot exist in a flawed world or be attained by flawed and imperfect human beings. I am still a work in progress. However, I have learned to celebrate every win. For instance, I have reduced my tardiness from 3 out of 5 days, or 60%, to now increasing my on-time arrival at work to 4 out of 5 days, or 80%. I have now developed a new routine and a new habit. The reminders that I was getting via email from my boss have now subsided. Now, I want to be honest. There are days that I still arrive late. But guess what? I give myself grace and I start afresh on the next day. There are things that we cannot control. I cannot control the traffic on 400. I live off 400. And we know about Atlanta traffic and how people drive. And there could be an accident at any given moment of the morning. If that happens, I cannot control that. I'm going to take the responsibility and text my administrators and let them know this is out of my control. So I give myself grace. I think we all need to give ourselves grace. Are you having difficulty managing your time? I'm speaking to you. I want to share with you some tips that helped me, and I want to share them with you. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge you have a problem. The first step in change is recognizing that you have a problem and that you need to take control of it. The second thing that I did was I had accountability partners, 2 of my closest friends, a coworker and a friend that I've known for over 20 years. I'm going to say my coworker is Sprinkle, and my best friend is, we call her La. And these 2 people checked up on me periodically throughout the week just to make sure I was out the door. Find 1 or 2 people that you can trust and who are dependable to hold you accountable for the change that you're seeking. They are for those moments that we have run out of stamina and willpower, and they are there to help motivate you to get over that temporary hump on those specific days. The next thing I did was make a plan. There were a lot of adjustments that I had to make. I never really realized that everything is interconnected. It's like a domino effect. If one thing is out of place, everything crashes. So I needed to have a plan. And I learned this quote from Benjamin Franklin. And it says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this means that preparation is key to success, especially when you're managing your time. So the first thing I needed to do was remove all of the distractions that are obstacles to my success. That's what I am sharing with you. Remove anything that is going to distract you. For me, it was adding things to my morning routine. And so I made sure that I did not do that any longer. I kept it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself with many things to do. Then I tracked my progress. Whether you're doing it on your your phone, a notepad, a journal. For me, I use my timesheet to keep track of my attendance progress. And then the last one, as I've mentioned before, give yourself grace. There are things you can control and circumstances that are that you can't control, that are completely out of your control. On those days, do not think of yourself or the situation as a failure. Give yourself grace. My final reflections and takeaways. I have two columns here because there were just so many things that I wanted to share with you. Number one, I had to be consistent. Good habits are formed when we are consistent and focused on the desired change. Every morning, I made this a matter of prayer for me. I'm a spiritual woman, and I made this a matter of prayer because I knew that I needed to change. Remember that no man is an island. We need each other, and it's okay to ask for help. Find your support system and lean on them for guidance, encouragement, and assistance. Sometimes we wear these masks that we're so hard and strong and, we're invincible. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show people that weaker side of you and that you need help because we're all struggling with something. I believe in mantras, which are sayings that aid in self-motivation. When I'm struggling or need that extra motivation to get something done, I repeat this powerful Bible text. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. So set those personal goals. Get feedback from your friends, the people who are your support systems. Reflect on your daily performance and celebrate those wins. Explore different ways to solve your problem and adapt. Make that shift because change is inevitable. My name is Luciann Barry, and I am a recovering perfectionist and procrastinator. And I'm sharing my journey of overcoming growth and change with a hope that it will help others in their journey to change. I hope that you are blessed and find freedom in the process. Peace and blessings.